Hello, murderers and millennials. My name is Timmy Skine, and I found this article today. It got posted around, and I thought it was like The Onion or a parody of some sort. No, this is Philadelphia Magazine, which is just like a genuine online magazine kind of thing, apparently. And I think we should just read it. I think we should just read it because this article is special. I think it's special. How Millennials Killed Mayonnaise. The Inexorable Rise of Identity Content. Okay. The inexorable rise of identity condiments has led to hard times for the most American of foodstuffs, and that's a shame. I write this in the dead of summer, always a bittersweet season. Why is it we got summers off from school for all those years, but don't get summers off from work? That's a very good question, our author of this article, Sandy Hingston. But doubly depressing these days, when I find myself suffering from picnic panic, the hot, languid weather brings with it a series of outdoor family events for which, as a tribal elder, I'm charged with providing provisions. So this is starting very strong. Like, we get the stakes of the situation, that there is picnic panic, and she is the tribal elder charged with guarding the rest of her people against the terrible wrath of the picnic gods. Lately, though, I've had my feet cut out from under me for years, nay, decades! My contributions to the Hingston clan's Memorial Day and 4th of July and Labor Day gatherings were no-brainers. I made what my mother once made. She was such a good cook that when she died prematurely, why is that funny to me? My husband and I typed up and photocopied, quaint, I know, okay, a booklet of her recipes, tried and true favorites on which she built her formidable culinary reputation. When the holidays rolled around, I simply recreated one of her delicious dishes and toted it along. So what she's told us so far is that she's never actually had to think about what she's doing. She just kind of went with whatever someone wrote down once upon a time and didn't really bother to invent anything herself. Anyway, along about a decade ago, though, that's a good way to phrase that, I began to notice I was toting home as much of my offerings as I'd concocted. My contributions were being overlooked or shunned. Why should this be? Mom's extraordinary potato salad, fragrant with dill, spiced by celery seed, went untouched on the picnic table. So did her macaroni salad, and her chicken salad, and her deviled eggs. You're not making a compelling case for this being like a feast, my dear woman. This sounds a little boring. When I carted home a good 3 pounds of painstakingly prepared Waldorf food, why did you have 3 pounds of Waldorf salad? How many people were you trying to feed? All that peeling and coring and slicing, I was forced to face facts. The family's tastes had changed, or rather, our family had changed. Oldsters were dying off, and the young ones taking our place in the paper plate line were different somehow. Her family has been taken by the body snatchers. Okay, it's not that funny yet, but it's something about the totality of this thing, as you will see, it's fucking killed me. I have been a wreck for like half an hour, because I racked my brain for the source of this generational disconnect, and then, one holiday weekend while surveying the condiments set out at a family burger bash, I found it. On offer were 4 different kinds of mustard, 3 ketchups, 1 made from, I kid you not, bananas, 7 sorts of salsa, kimchi, wasabi, relishes of every ink and hue. What was missing, though, was the common foundation of all mom's picnic foods, mayonnaise. While I wasn't watching, mayo's day had come and gone. It's too basic for contemporary tastes, pale and insipid, and not nearly exotic enough for our era of globalization. Good old mayo has become the Taylor Swift of condiments. More like Taylor Swift is the mayo of pop stars, but okay. She's blaming globalization? Okay. My mom was the daughter of Lithuanian immigrants, born in the era in which huddled masses clambered ashore on Ellis Island, their pockets stuffed with kielbasa and chorizo, and Braunschweig, I can't pronounce any of this, and Mackinac. and lapchung and were processed in the great American assimilation grinder, emerging to dine happily ever after on Hatfield hot dogs and potato salad. Her entire life she worried about sticking out, about not fitting in. She was self-conscious that her parents spoke with accent. She worked like a tiger to haul herself out of South Philadelphia Girls High and Temple, where she met my dad, whose American heritage stretched a few decades further back, and whose people came from the British Isles, the Omphalos of bland food. America in the 1950s was full of strivers like Mom, desperate to forget family legacies of latkes and box ties and don't know how that's pronounced, pouring through the pages of Family Circle and Good Housekeeping and Woman's Day for Stars and Stripes recipes that repped their newfound land. They wanted all their strangeness to dissolve in the sizzling pot of Crisco that crisped their French, not capital F French, fries. Granted, it's profoundly unfortunate in esculent terms. I don't know what the fuck esculent means, but I imagine it's good that the nation's newcomers fixated on foods from England and Ireland and Scotland. But women's magazines back then were almost exclusively edited by WASPs, that's white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Besides, the impetus seemed righteous. In a world torn asunder by the Great Depression, the Holocaust, and 2 world wars, our citizenry needed to come together, be united, rally behind a collective vision of what it meant to be an American. You lived in a single-family house, you drove a station wagon, you wore bowling shirts and blue jeans, and you slathered mayonnaise on everything from BLTs to burgers to pastrami on rye. How do you think "hold the mayo" became a saying? There was always mayo. And if you were some kind of deviant who didn't want it, you had to say so out loud. Here comes the good part. My son Jake, who's 25, eats mayo. He's a practical young man who works in computers and adores macaroni salad. He's a good son. I also have a daughter. She was a women's and gender studies major in college. Naturally, she loves mayonnaise. Yes, that most well-known side effect of feminism. If it's like gender studies, I warn you, children, you will stop enjoying mayonnaise. Oh, is this so fucking funny? I cannot fucking deal with this. She was a women's and gender studies major in college. Naturally. She loves mayonnaise. Naturally. Oh my god, help. It's wet my face. Oh god. This shouldn't be so funny. I don't know why this is so funny. And she's not alone. Ask the young people you know their opinion of mayo and you'll be shocked by the depths of their emotion. Oh, there's the occasional outlier, like Jake, my wonderful son who I love, unlike my terrible daughter who took gender studies and hates mayonnaise. But for the most part, today's youth would sooner get their news from an actual newspaper than ingest mayo. What the fuck does that mean? The origins of this contentious condiment are hotly debated. Is its name derived from the city of Mahon on the Balearic island of Minorca? Okay, we're doing the history of mayonnaise now, I guess. Where the Duc de Richelieu chef, unable to find cream for a sauce to celebrate his lordship's successful siege during the 7 Years' War, substituted an emulsion of eggs and oil. Someone used mayonnaise as a sauce, okay? Or is it a bastardization of bayonnaise from the Gallic town renowned for its tasty hams? I don't know, but I'd love to find out. Whatever. Either way, the dressing had crossed the Atlantic by 1838 when Chi-Chi Manhattan restaurant Delmonico's offered both lobster and chicken mayonnaise on its menu. Mayo spread. Ha! Yeah. Yeah, I love the pun. To the more common man after the invention of the mechanical bread slice. Why is that funny? Just in time for sandwiches to be tucked inside brown bags and unwrapped in lunchrooms of the nation's factories. The mechanical bread slicer. That was an important thing to bring up, apparently, that the mechanical bread slicer had been invented recently. Mayonnaise at this point was still mostly handmade, whisked up by wives as needed, but the culinary horizon was shifting. In 1912, the German immigrant owner of an Upper West Side deli, Richard Hellman, began to sell mayonnaise packed in jars decorated with 3 blue ribbons. According to culinary historian Andrew Smith, these jars differed from those of Hellman's condiment. I love the alliteration. I love the alliteration so much. In one vital way, they had wide mouths, enabling customers to get big-ass spoons inside. Okay. Sales were so successful that 2 years later, Hellman sold his deli to open the first in an ever-growing series of manufacturing facilities devoted to Hellman's Blue Ribbon mayonnaise. At one point, when Hellman and his wife were in Europe to research product distribution, travel agents urged them to sail back to the U.S. on a shiny new ship, the Titanic! The Titanic is a part of this story! Jack and Rose! Eating mayonnaise sandwiches as they fall in love to the soundtrack of Celine Dion and poor Mr. Hellman. Apparently somehow they managed to make the Titanic part of the story. They took a smaller ship instead, and thank God, because Hellman's was the only mayonnaise my mayo-doning cat ever... Yeah, thank God the mayonnaise guy survived. How would we ever have made do without him? What would your father ever have eaten? More than 100 years after its creation, Hellman still sells more than half the mayonnaise in the nation. It is, Ari Laveau wrote in Slate a few years back, the standard by which all others are judged. Laveau interviewed a professional taster who considers Hellman's a member of an exclusive group of products that are so refined and sophisticated that it's hard for the average palate to break them down into the component flavors. You don't taste egg in Hellman's, the taster explained. You don't taste oil or vinegar. All the flavors blend together. They're balanced. Nothing sticks out. Everything is appropriate. So in other words, Hellman's has absolutely no taste whatsoever. Like, there's no taste. It has no flavor. You can't taste any of the stuff they put in it. So that's good. Nothing sticks out. Mayonnaise isn't bland. It's artfully blended. It's an evocation of the era I grew up in, of the homogeneity of that old, dead American dream. Yes, kids, the American dream is dead because my terrible daughter who took gender studies doesn't eat mayonnaise anymore. Okay. Calm the fuck down. Calm down. One of the reasons for mayonnaise's early popularity, according to public health historian David Merritt-Johns, was that it served to disguise flaws in the ingredients it coated. Potatoes past their due date, flappy cabbage, tuna that was less than pristine. Young people like my daughter somehow seem to have extrapolated this masking function from condiment to culture. For them, mayo quite literally whitewashed America's immigrants into eating dull food. Okay, that's news to me. And newer generations are refusing to meekly fall in line with a culinary heritage that was never theirs. Instead, they're gobbling off kefir and ajwa and chimichurri, and I can't pronounce any of these things because I'm very white. And gochujang again. They're also shunning their parents' preferred restaurants, the hallowed establishments, Applebee's, Ruby Tuesdays, and TGI Fridays to seek out more authentic fare. Old school eateries in turn are diversifying in their search for new customers. Just this year, Red Lobster rolled out a waffles and lobster option. Wow, okay, Red Robin launched a vegan burger. Is this advertising for those chains? Okay, we'll talk about that later. You don't put mayo on a vegan burger. Ugh. McDonald's has debuted a signature sriracha burger, joining KFC, Wendy's, and Subway in signing on to the sizzling Thai sauce's moment in the sun. You didn't see Hai Fong Foods start a smear campaign against the cultural appropriation of that. No, because they were making sales. What the fuck are you talking about? But what young people really, really love is to hate on mayonnaise. Back in 2013, BuzzFeed ran an article titled 24 Reasons Mayonnaise is the Devil's Condiment. The writer called it the slime of Satan. I need to read that article. Just 3 years later, BuzzFeed ran another piece. 23 things you'll only understand if you fucking hate mayo. I wonder what those things are. By a different author. There was no overlap. I don't know. Maybe the overlap is that they're BuzzFeed articles and they are completely disposable and have nothing to do with anything. Okay. Drew Magery penned a piece for Bon Appetit with the headline, Big Mayo Will Destroy Us All. A movie called The Mayo Conspiracy won the Best Comedy Feature at the 2015's World Independent Film Festival. It concerns the gradual uncovering by a journalist of a mayonnaise cartel that plans to take over the world. That sounds pretty funny. But these, as far as I can make out, are signs of the mayonnaise apocalypse. Clearly there's something more to this river of resentment. I love her alliteration. I love how she uses alliteration than a miscible mixture of eggs and oil. It is obvious to me that this condiment divide can be traced to young folks' rejection of what they sneeringly consider a boring white food. Do you think 23andMe and MyHeritage and all those other DNA testing companies are flourishing because people want to find out their ancestors came from Aberdeen? Hells no. They wanna be, not want to be, but wanna be from Marrakesh or Manchuria or Malawi. It's the same with condiments. I'm not part of the elderly mayo masses. I am Turkey and Swiss on ciabatta with tzatziki, with chipotle spread and a little basil pesto. That is who I am, damn it. My sandwich, myself. Okay. Granted, there are other theories regarding mass generational mayonnaise rejection. MGMR, mass generational mayonnaise rejection. It's the newest thing. It's caused by global warming. Experts say the dislike springs from the fact that mayo jiggles. You may have noticed youth's similar circumvention of gelled salads. My mom made a dynamite one with black cherry jello, walnuts, olives, canned cherries, and small balls of... That sounds disgusting. Others posit that mayonnaise is reminiscent of bodily fluids and therefore, as Penn psychology professor Paul Rosen has suggested, too disgusting to ingest. Kendra Pierre-Louis got right down to it in Re-Mayo in Popular Science. Its viscous quality is the sort of thickness that you'd get from fluid oozing out of a rotted carcass, as anyone who has ever poked a rotted squirrel with a stick can attest. Yeah, I did that just last week. And the creamy appearance of mayonnaise isn't dissimilar from what would emerge from, say, a popped sit. This is bullshit! This attitude comes to you from young people who willingly slurp down 8 casillion kinds of yogurt, not to mention raw fish and pork belly and, detergent pods! So don't talk to me about mayonnaise. The only reason for this raging Mayo-phobia is a generation's gut-level renouncement of the greatest generation's condiment of choice. Yes! This is how our civilization ends. Not with a bang, but with someone using sriracha on their fucking ham sandwich. But here's the thing. The all-American condiment didn't have to be mayonnaise. It could have been ketchup or mustard. Hell, it could have been horseradish, but it wasn't. It's not mayo's fault that it's been so successful, that it glimpsed a condiment breach and jiggled right on through. As Boston chef Scott Jones told Ariel Laveau, the magic that sets mayonnaise above Coke and Heinz is that mayo is a perfect flavor carrier. It just makes everything better. Need proof? Do other condiments have pale imitators like Miracle Whip and Just Mayo and Veganese? I don't think so. Hey, we're all capable of growth, you know. I add a little fish sauce to my stir fries these days. I have a bottle of Salsa Lisano on my refrigerator door. I thought young people today were supposed to be all about inclusion, about kindness and compassion and making other people feel welcome. So how about you include a little mayo in your picnic fare? Mayonnaise have been the building block for 1,000 different tweaks in a rainbow of cultures. Russian dressing, remoulade, comeback sauce, fry sauce, QP, salsa rosada, mayo chop. Just because something is old and white doesn't mean it's obsolete. Look at Shakespeare. Look at me. Oh, she just equated herself and mayonnaise to Shakespeare. Okay. Oh my God, I'm all laughed out. I don't think I can do this much longer. Then again, I may be too late to staunch the mayo hate. America may already be too far gone. While I was researching this article, what? You think I just pulled this stuff out of thin air? No, lady. You know, at this point, I'm convinced that you have carefully and meticulously researched the subject of why mayonnaise is the very linchpin of America's greatness. Oh boy. An organization known as the Association for Dressings and Sauces, or ADS, took a poll that revealed something amazing. Millennials love mayo, the headline screamed. According to ADS, older millennials, those ages 25 to 35, are the most frequent purchasers of my mom's preferred condiments. So what the fuck were you just scared of? Ahead of the next most frequent, which would happen to be my demographic, boomers age 55 to 65. Granted, we boomers are all anxious to avoid the Mayo Clinic. Really? But could a new generation really be primed and ready to take up Richard Hellman's torch? Which didn't go on the Titanic, you know. It went on a different ship, which is why he didn't drown. So my dad could have his mayo sandwiches. Okay. So the whole premise of the article so far is that millennials have been killing the mayo industry. They have been murdering it, stabbing it in the face with giant knives made out of sriracha sauce. And then we get here. And ages 25 to 35, which is like a lot of them, are the most frequent purchasers of mayonnaise. There are more millennials purchasing mayonnaise than boomers. Okay. No. Tucked well down in the report in the survey was this nugget, courtesy of ADS Executive Director Jeannie Milowski. We were founded as the Mayonnaise Product Manufacturers Association, MPMA, and had to change your name to stay relevant. Okay, Association for Dressing and Sauces, I see how it is. Yeah, you can't trust the Association for Dressing and Sauces to be honest about the popularity of mayonnaise. They changed their name in order to avoid the negative connotation. The saddest part is, my mom's macaroni salad is banging with an apostrophe at the end. You kids are only cheating yourselves by rejecting it. Besides, I've got news. That aioli you're also fond of, I hate to break it to you, but that's just mayonnaise. Oh no! Oh no! I am vanquished! My millennial heart is shattered! Oh no! I thought I was eating an exotic new spice that would be okay with all of my gender-studying friends, but it turned out I was eating the whitewashing condiment of America that's been forcing generation upon generation to reject their cultural heritage. Oh my God. I can't tell you how much I needed to read something like this today, so thank you very much to Sandy Hingston over at the Philadelphia Magazine. Because, because I now understand why so many angry feminists on my timelines get angry whenever I post an Instagram of a sandwich with mayonnaise on it. I was so confused up until now, but now I understand. It's because America is dying, the American dream is dead, and Hellman should have died on the Titanic. Oh no. Oh God, I'm done. Thank you all for indulging. I just needed this today. I'm sorry. Thank you for indulging me. I'm not going to ask anyone to like or subscribe or anything. This is just me taking some personal time.